Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining us for our session 2 of our using AI as a writing tool with our very successful writer and AI Writers Connection contributing author Mira Gold.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And as she said, I'm Mira Gold, and I'm here today with Cece. Cece, will you please introduce yourself?
I'm WordSpinner, also known as CC, a writer from North America.
We are delighted to welcome you to this special session organized by eGlobal Creative Publishing. Today, we delve into the art of storytelling with AI, exploring how the evolving landscape of artificial intelligence is transforming the way we tell and experience stories. eGlobal Creative Publishing, a trailblazer in the publishing industry, is renowned for its commitment to bringing diverse and compelling narratives to a global audience. They are dedicated to discovering and nurturing talented writers, offering a platform that transcends traditional geography and cultural boundaries. eGlobal is particularly keen on stories that resonate universally, narratives that weave the unique with the universal, and tells that captivate the readers. Today's session will merge the timeless craft of storytelling with the innovative capabilities of AI. eGlobal recognizes the immersive potential of AI in enhancing narrative creativity and broadening the horizons of storytelling. As we navigate through this session, we will uncover how AI tools can be a valuable asset in crafting narratives that align with eGlobal and other publishers' visions of global storytelling. As stated today, we are going to delve into the art of storytelling with AI, a unique blend of traditional narrative techniques and advanced AI technology. This fusion is redefining the boundaries of storytelling as we know it, offering writers new tools to craft their stories. AI, with its ability to process and generate language, brings a fresh perspective to the narrative construction, character development, and plot enhancement. Now, our journey also takes us into a new frontier in creative writing powered by AI. Here, we see AI not just as a tool, but a creative partner, but one who we direct. And the AI offers novel ideas, helps overcome writer's block, and can even contribute to more complex aspects of storytelling, like theme exploration and narrative structure. This exploration opens up a world where AI's capabilities are harnessed to push the limits of creativity. In this session, we will uncover how AI can be a valuable resource for writers. We are entering an era where AI's role in creative writing is becoming more significant, providing writers with an array of new possibilities to explore and integrate into their story craft. The plot, when we look at fundamentals of storytelling, plot is one of those things that people often bring into the light multiple times. Often people say, I'm not sure exactly what direction my plot might be going or how my character comes into play. The plot is the backbone of any story, providing structure and direction. It's the sequence of events that propels the narrative forward, creating a journey for the characters and the audience. A well-crafted plot is essential for engaging the reader, ensuring that each event unfolds logically while maintaining interest and suspense. In storytelling with AI, the plot can be dynamically generated or enhanced, offering new avenues for story development, some of which we will demonstrate later on in this presentation. Now, characters, they are the soul of the story, breathing life into the narrative. Strong characters develop actually allows the reader to connect on an emotional level, and it allows them to become invested in the characters' journeys. AI tools can assist in creating multidimensional characters, suggesting traits, even backstories, and growth arcs. Characters should evolve and respond to the plot, making their experiences relatable and compelling. The setting lays the groundwork for the world of the story, encompassing not just physical locations, but the cultural and social environment. Effective world building establishes the backbone against which characters interact and events unfold, contributing to the story's believability. AI can actually help you with the visualization of your setting. It can help you ensure consistency and depth in the world building process. It can even provide you with an evaluation. Conflict is the driving force of a story, creating tension and intrigue. It arises from the character's struggles against external forces, internal dilemmas, and the interactions that character has with the supporting character cast. AI can also offer creative scenarios for conflict, enhancing narrative tension and helping to structure the plot around key challenges and those resolutions. Themes are the underlying messages or the central idea of the story, offering deeper insights and meanings. A theme can actually resonate with your readers, especially a strong theme. It can provoke thought and emotion. AI can assist in identifying and developing your themes, ensuring that they are woven seamlessly throughout the narrative. Tropes are common or reoccurring elements and themes. They can be extremely powerful tools in storytelling when you use it effectively. Creating something or a familiar feel or setting those expectations within your story is imperative. Tropes can help you with that. AI can suggest tropes based on genre or plot, but careful handling is needed to avoid some cliches. And also, tropes help to keep the story fresh and original. Traditional storytelling elements like a clear beginning, middle, and an end, say the hero's journey, or even a narrative that may follow a romance outline, like, say, Jamie Gold or the Gold Method. Again, when it comes to traditional storytelling elements, you want to be clear. As I stated already, you want to make sure that your beginning and your middle and your end are clear to the reader so that they can follow the storyline. Now, while AI introduces new dimensions to storytelling, these fundamental elements remain crucial for structure and for creating a compelling and cohesive narrative. Now, AI tools are really pushing the edge of writing. It is helping us to identify some of our ideas, generate stories, and AI can actually help you rapidly generate a diverse range of concepts, themes, and scenarios, offering a rich source of inspiration for writers. This capability is especially valuable for overcoming writer's block or when you're seeking fresh ideas or just wanting to know what other avenues you might want to take your story to. Again, remember, AI is the tool and you are the writer. So you're the one sitting in the director's seat guiding the AI. Now, AI's ability to shift through vast data and identifying novel combinations can lead to a rather unique and compelling story premise. In the plot development, AI tools can suggest intriguing plot twists, add to plot twists that you have already come up with, help you with narrative structures in organizing your thoughts, and it can assist with story progressions, making sure that maybe you're not progressing too slow or too fast. They can actually analyze existing plots that you have already created and offer alternatives or extensions to help enrich your body of work. It can also help writers explore different narrative paths. AI's predictive models can also forecast how different plot choices might resonate with audience or with different reader groups. Now, why is that important? That's important because if you're writing in a niche area, or even if you're writing in a popular genre, you still want to know how your body of work is going to resonate. Advanced narrative techniques like nonlinear storytelling and intricate character arcs add depth and complexity to a narrative. Nonlinear storytelling breaks away from that traditional chronological narrative, and it actually offers a unique way to unfold a story. Yes, chronological order is important, but when you're working with AI, if there's a specific area that you want to work on with your story, you can do a deeper dive into that, which allows you to develop robust character arcs, which involves crafting detailed journeys of change and growth for your characters. These techniques require careful planning and consideration to execute effectively. Now, one of the areas that I really like to drill down into whenever I'm creating a story is the Snyder beat sheet or the Save the Cat beat sheet. I tend to like that because I have a background in script writing, and that was one of the first types of formats or templates that I learned when I was in my MFA program. And it stuck with me today. But after learning some other formats like, say, Lester Dent, the Gold Method, or Jamie Gold's worksheet, I like to mix and mash some of the different templates or create some templates of my own depending on what my story needs. Now, going back to the Snyder beat sheet, it is a popular tool for structuring a screenplay or even a novel today. It outlines key beats or plot points that should occur at specific moments within a story. This method ensures a rhythmic pace and structure, making the narrative engaging and cohesive. Now, why do I bring this up? I bring it up because when you're working with AI, the AI understands story. The AI understands templates, and it definitely understands the structure of Snyder Beat's main beats. And that's another reason why I like to use the Snyder beat sheet. Now, I also mentioned Lester Dent's master plot formula, and the reason for that, I love to write romantic thrillers, and using some of Lester Dent's plot formula allows me to create a framework for writing either a short story or a longer body of work. Now, it focuses on having a different adventure within the story. Maybe I want to write a novella or a novel with maybe a couple of different serial killers, or maybe I have a couple of different mysteries in there. I can branch off and use those different storylines along with some red herrings and eventually bring all of my characters together. Dent's formula is highly effective for crafting tight, compelling narratives, particularly useful for genres like, say, pulp fiction and adventure. Now, the Gold method, developed by writer Jamie Gold, is a holistic approach to story structure. It integrates various elements like plot points, character arcs, and pacing into a comprehensive framework. This method is particularly beneficial for writers seeking a balanced approach to structuring their narratives, ensuring that all story elements align with some harmony in there. Now, in addition to that, Jamie Gold has worksheets that are tailored specifically for romance writing. They provide guidance on developing romantic arcs, chemistry between your protagonist and your love interest. It also helps you with emotional conflicts. These tools are invaluable for romance writers, helping them craft believable and engaging romantic stories with the right mix of tension and resolution. Now, why did I bring these up? I brought them up because looking at these structures helps a writer see what that flow might look like for creating a specific story outline and looking at all those important beats. But I do want to point out that AI can be a valuable asset when exploring these sophisticated storytelling techniques, or even a technique that you as a writer have put together yourself. AI tools can suggest your plot structure, it can evaluate your plot structure, and it can do that based on Snyder's beat sheet, Lester Dent, Jamie Gold, or any other format that you may feed to the LLM. In addition to that, AI's analytical capabilities enable writers to experiment with different narrative techniques, offering suggestions and variations that might not be immediately apparent. That's one of the things that I love about AI. I can start drafting a story concept, and before long, it has birthed into something tangible, something that I can take forward, create my outline, create my story beats, and then be able to either write the prose myself or have the LLM or the AI assist me with generating prose. Now, if I have an AI generate prose for me, do I keep that prose 100% without any changes? No. I actually have to go into any AI generated prose and make changes. I have to edit that content just like I would if I were generating prose without AI assistance. Editing is still an important part of the process for any writer. Now, when we talk about interactive brainstorming with AI, I know that I talked about that a little bit in the first session, but I really want to talk about how AI's capability to generate story ideas and concepts really is a game changer for writers seeking inspiration. When you talk about AI tools, it's how quickly you can produce a variety of ideas that really stands out, from intricate plot lines to unique character profiles based on the inputted themes, genres, and other key elements that you, the writer, feed into the LLM. Now, let's put AI's creative potential into action through an interactive brainstorming session. I really want to encourage you as the audience to participate by suggesting some additional things to some of the prompts that I'm going to show. Is there a specific genre that you write in? If so, place that in the comment section. Do you write romantic thrillers? Do you write romantic comedies? Since we're talking about eGlobal, we want something with a romance as the main theme of the story. So in the comment section, be sure to tell us what kind of romance story you write. Are you writing romantic cozies? Are you writing a dystopian novel that has a very strong romance thread throughout the story? Again, it needs to be romance based, but give us an idea of what subgenre you write within romance.
We have one for dark romance.
Ooh, what kind of dark romance? Is this going to be a dark mafia romance, a billionaire romance? Is it going to be a sci-fi alien romance? Is it going to be a romantic thriller? So what kind of dark romance are we talking about?
Oh, age gap dark romance.
And
Oh, and
okay.
we have another one, Mira Gold, high fantasy YA.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and escape the presentation. So bear with me. I am going to stop sharing so that I can go ahead and grab my actual screen for showing you ChatGPT. So give me just a second to bring up chat.
And while she's doing that, y'all, any questions that you have, anything that you need to bring to us so we can answer that for you, please do not be shy. This is your time. This is the moments when you have Mira Gold captured and held prisoner so she can answer all the questions that you have. And I promise you, we're more than happy to address them. Do not be shy. And somewhere midway through the presentation, maybe a little bit closer to the end, I'll be dropping a couple of documents on you that have links, helpful links to get y'all started. Here we go.
So as you can see, I have ChatGPT loaded on my screen. And I want to let you know that if you have already gone out to chat, and notice how I have 3.5 here, I can use 3.5 or I can use GPT-4. I tend to like to use the GPT-4 version rather than 3.5. Now, if you have 3.5, that's fine. What I will caution you on with 3.5 is make sure that you are fully engaging the LLM because it can give you some vague content. It just means that you have to go back and forth with 3.5 a little bit more than you have to with 4. Because 3.5 can give you some vague content, it may require you to provide more information when maybe it says that the characters are talking about a mysterious note. You still need to be able to input what's on that mysterious note. If there is a hidden clue somewhere, you need to make sure that you're spelling out what that clue actually is, because the LLM, if given the freedom to try to figure that out for itself, will either remain really vague and not say very much about it, or it'll go off in a direction that you did not plan. So let's take a look. I'm going to show you some of the things that I love about using AI. Now, say I know I want to write a story, but I don't know exactly what it is that I want to write today. So I want to give myself some options. I know that I want to write something in the dark romance category. So I'm going to say in the romance category or genre, I'm going to state that using different popular tropes and themes in the dark. Now, do we want to have another subgenre? I know that we have age gap in there. What else can we put in here? Are there any others in there, Cece?
Actually, yes, it looks like Charlotte said, how about romantic fantasy?
Do we want to turn this, do we want this one to be contemporary? And then do we want to do a set of fantasy after these 20 generate? Now, I could do 20 here. I could do 10. Let's run these for contemporary first and then run the same thing for fantasy. So let's do contemporary romance.
Hey, and after that, why don't we do that high fantasy YA that Laura mentioned too? Do we have time to drop 3 of them?
Yes, we definitely do. So
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and submit this. Now, notice I'm in 3.5 right now. 3.5 is generating these for me. And 3.5 is the free version of ChatGPT, and version 4 is the paid. So this shows you right here, if you are on 3.5, you can definitely play around with these. Let's see what it gave us. Forbidden desires. When a young artist accepts a commission to paint a reclusive billionaire's portrait, she enters a world of dark secrets and hidden desires. As they embark on a passionate affair, they must navigate the dangerous line between love and obsession. That sounds like that could give me some interesting ideas to be able to take forward. Now let's take a look at the professor's secret. A brilliant but troubled professor becomes enamored with his much younger student. Their illicit affair ignites a forbidden romance, forcing them to confront the consequences of their actions in the cutthroat world of academia. So again, it is endless, the amount of options that you can have when you are playing with AI. Again, I can ask for additional tropes. I can, in addition to the age gap, I could toss in mafia in here. I could also toss in maybe it's an arranged marriage or a forced marriage. I can do any of those aspects whenever I am looking to generate ideas. Now, let's go ahead and play with that same prompt. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to copy that little prompt. And by the way, I will go ahead and post those on the YouTube video when that's released. You'll have all of these prompts. So let's take a look at this. Now let's go ahead and do 10 again. And this time we are doing, do we want it to be a dark fantasy or are we doing something else? What type of romance fantasy are we doing?
It just says romantic fantasy. What do you say, Charlotte? You got anything in mind? No comment yet. Oh, she said dark. Let's hear it for the dark romances.
Now, are we looking at this to be maybe like an urban fantasy? Are we looking at it to be something that's high fantasy, epic fantasy? What kind of fantasy are we looking at?
Urban fantasy even? What do you got in mind? Anything, Charlotte? Oh, she said urban.
Urban, okay. Urban fantasy. And are we going, is there magic involved? Is there an academy? What else might be going on here?
I'm not seeing anything. Since it's academy and we got a YA coming up, what about a bounty hunter? How does that sound?
We can put bounty hunter here.
That sound good, Charlotte? This is your story after all.
So,
ooh, she said yes and ooh.
A vampire, okay, bounty hunter. So a vampire bounty hunter. Well, let's see what that gives us. Bounty of the Night. A skilled vampire bounty hunter crosses paths with a charismatic vampire prince. When a dangerous new threat emerges, they must join forces to protect their city, but their growing attraction threatens to complicate their mission. Now, keep in mind that this is a premise. So a premise is going to tell you who the player is. 1, we have a skilled vampire bounty hunter. 2, we have a vampire prince. 3, we have what is happening, which is a dangerous new threat emerges. What that threat is, I don't know yet, but that is what we would need to do when fleshing it out would be to identify what that dangerous new threat is. And it's tossing them together to join forces to protect the city. So what happens if they don't fulfill what they need to do? If they don't protect the city, then maybe evil overruns the city. Again, these are only premises. These are not the synopsis. These are premises. They are very bare at the basic level. Cursed by moonlight. In a world where werewolves are outlaws, a fierce and independent wolf shifter forms an uneasy alliance with a vampire bounty hunter. Together, they must track down a powerful supernatural artifact while navigating their undeniable attraction. So while it does not have a vampire listed here, we do have a vampire hunter that basically comes forward and forms an alliance with a werewolf. Maybe they are hunting down a vampire who has taken possession of this supernatural artifact. All these premises do is just an idea in the imagination of the writer to help you take content forward. Let's see what else it has. Hunted by Desire. A vampire hunter from a secretive order is assigned to track down a seductive and elusive vampire with a taste for danger. However, as they engage in a deadly dance of pursuit and evasion, forbidden desires flare between them. So again, these are only story starters. And one of the things that I love about this is that if nothing catches my eye here, I can do it again. If, say, I like elements of number 7, which is the vampire's redemption, and I want to mix it with maybe number 9's eternal temptations, maybe I want to have a reclusive vampire hunter with a tortured past. Maybe this person has stepped back and just has lost all hope in humanity. And maybe that individual encounters a vampire that kind of leads to a sinister plot that's threatening both humans and supernaturals. Maybe it brings that person out of his or her shell. I can mix and match some of these and create new stories. So again, think about how you might want to use this tool to help you flesh out a story. Now, you had mentioned
Hey,
that
Mira Gold, are you ready to do your last one?
I am getting that right now.
Laura and I did our homework, so here it is, right?
Okay.
So remember, it's a high fantasy YA, but here's the specs that she wants to put on it. Coming of age, epic, and academy.
Epic and Academy.
Yep. And then while you're typing all that, do you mind if I ask, after this is all done, can we share the ChatGPT link to these so these folks can be able to see their stories in greater detail?
100%. Now, that was a high fantasy YA novel, and then you
Yes.
said epic and what?
And coming of age and academy.
Epic.
And then while it generates, I have a question from Laura. She wants to know why you use brackets around the prompt, if there was a reason or a purpose.
So I tend to like to use the brackets because it lets the LLM know that it is instruction, and it is how I actually train my LLM. Now, could I do this without brackets? Yes, I could. But because some of my other prompts use brackets as well as parentheses in there, I like to keep consistency because that repetition helps the LLM understand how I am actually giving it or feeding it instructions. Now, the chat that you see right here, I actually have very few stories in here, as you can see. This is one of my newer chats that I just created. What has it been, less than a month, Cece? And I did that because people were saying, why does your chat have different stuff in it than mine? I've been training my other chat for almost a year. This one I've only been training for about a month, and it really does begin to learn what your questions are, learns what your repetitive process might be. There were times in my other ChatGPT where I might not feed it all of my prompt, and it would automatically start spitting out things with a prompt that I hadn't fed it, which isn't a bad thing because I'm very consistent. I am a creature of habit. So when I go in and I start using some of my prompts, I do them consistently almost in the same type of pattern. The only difference is that I change out some of the elements within my prompts. Now, the first session, I actually showed you some of my really long frameworks. Today, I'm taking a step back to show you how I might just brainstorm. So let's go ahead and see what this gives us. And again, we are in ChatGPT 3.5. So let's see what it gave us. For number 1, The Chosen Apprentice, a young farm girl discovers she possesses extraordinary magical abilities and is chosen to attend a prestigious academy for gifted sorcerers. There, she must navigate political intrigue, make allies, and uncover the truth about her hidden lineage. Now, does that tell me a whole lot? It tells me, one, that she is a farm girl. She's not used to the city. She probably lives a very simple life out on the farm. She finds herself inside of a prestigious academy, maybe with people who have far more monetary items in their life than what she does. So she may feel like a fish out of water. And again, she has to navigate political intrigue and make alliances. This is something that she may not be used to coming from a really small town. Let's see. Number 2 is Quest for the Lost Relic, a group of misfit teens. So this is interesting. Option 1 is telling the story from a single person's perspective. Now, if you wanted that farm girl to fall in love and make this a romance where you alternate between her POV and a love interest POV, you could so do that with number 1. But number 2, when you're looking at it, it is a group of misfit teens. That means that you have an ensemble cast of characters, and then you would have to think about, how do I want to handle this cast? Do I want to make one of them the main character, the primary character who you are following? And maybe if she has 5 other friends that are part of this ensemble group, will the other 5 each have a story or book of their own later on? This is where you begin to form some ideas and think, okay, how can I take this forward? What do I want to flesh this out into? So 2 reads, a group of misfit teenagers from different races and backgrounds are brought together by a prophecy. They embark on a perilous journey to find a long-lost relic that could save their realm from impending darkness, learning the true meaning of friendship and courage along the way. Again, this is more of a hero's journey, but you could also create it as an ensemble cast or have one primary character with supporting characters. And again, it would be your story. You have to figure out how you want to bring that forward. Let's see, a dragon rider's legacy is number 3. An ordinary village boy, I'd probably turn that into a girl, stumbles upon a long-lost dragon egg, setting in motion a destiny that I would, again, make this a girl, never imagined. Maybe she lives somewhere obscure in the mountains. Maybe as she's exploring some of the caves, maybe she comes across these dragon eggs and she's not sure what they are. Again, these are stories that you can take and flesh out further. Now, she must learn how to bond with this dragon that hatches, uncover ancient secrets, and protect her world from an impending threat that only she and her dragon can stop. Maybe there's something in her lineage that allows her to awaken this dragon. I don't know. I'd have to flesh the story out. And just as the person who asked to have these run, again, you could take any of these, flesh them out, and create a story that you're comfortable with. Maybe you want to take elements out of number 6 from the Guardians of the Element Crystals and mix it with the Dragon Rider's legacy of number 3. There's nothing saying that you can't do that. Again, these are your stories. You're the director and you are guiding the AI. Now, is there one of these that really stands out to you on these 10? I'm going to scroll up so you can see the rest. We have, let's see, the Sorcerer's School Secret. We have the Prophecy of the 4, Guardians of the Elemental Crystal. 7 is the Mage's Apprentice. 8 is the Warrior's Trial. 9 is Secrets of the Elven Kingdom. And 10 is the Forgotten Hero. Is there one that stands out that we maybe want to flesh out a bit?
This is y'all's chance to let us know what you would like to see brought out further. So pick the one you want, put one, I guess 1 through 10 in the chat, and the majority will win. So Laura says number 8 or 10, but make the hero a female.
Okay.
Anybody else have thoughts?
No.
That's all that's come in. So since this was Laura's story to begin with, might as well.
Okay, so do we want 8 or do we want 10? I like the warrior's trial. Let's see. So number 8 is in a kingdom where only men are allowed to become warriors. So would that be?
Picked 8.
So
She did pick 8.
okay.
So your favorite one must be hers too.
So a determined young woman disguises herself as a boy to join the elite warrior academy. She must prove herself while concealing her true identity and uncovering a treacherous plot. Now, I don't know what that plot is yet, but let's find out what that is. I'm going to grab this one here, and I'm going to ask the LLM to write a 500 to 600 word, and we are going to call this a dark urban fantasy synopsis. Now, we also want it to have, what were the other items that she had asked for? Let's take a look. We want this to be
An academy.
We want it to be high fantasy academy genre. So let's read.
And coming of age.
And we are going to use premise number 8. I'm actually going to feed that in here. Now that I have fed that in here, I want to make sure that I have everything that I need in here. So I'm going to write a 500 to 600 word high fantasy young adult academy coming of age synopsis using premise number 8. And let's see, there, did it paste that in there? Let's see. Nope. Bear with me, folks. I am actually on my Mac. I've been using a PC, and flipping between the two can be quite interesting at times.
Those shortcuts sure do work differently, don't they?
They do. Okay, so we have premise number 8, the warrior trial in a kingdom where only men are allowed. So we have that in there. And now one of the other things that I want to show you is we have our little premise right here, but we also want to add in the genre and subgenre for the basis. We want to use that premise for the basis, but we also want to add 7 to 10 tropes, 10 to 15 themes, and provide a title along with a series name, 3 to 5 sentences. And the other thing that I wanted to do is provide a premise for book 2 or book 3. Now, if you're writing a serialized body of work, you would change book 2 and book 3 to a season. If you're writing serialized bodies of work for, say, eGlobal or a serialized platform, you would call those seasons. If you are writing, say, ebooks for Amazon or Apple, then you would call those books. Now, does that mean that if you use book that you can't turn that into a serialized body? No, it does not mean that. It's just the difference of how somebody might relay the information about a serialized versus an ebook. Now, a serialized will have a few differences from normal ebooks because you're serialized, you treat it like a soap opera. So if you've ever watched a soap on television like Days of Our Lives or Another World, or what was the one, Dallas or something, Who Shot JR, any of those, then think of a serialized body of work following your characters season over season versus, say, a book like maybe the Twilight series where you follow the same character book over book. Now, the other thing that I wanted to do is to make it clear what goals, motivations, and strengths and weaknesses my characters have. Now, I can say ensemble cast members, or I could make this be just a love interest. So do I want an ensemble cast, or do I want it just to be her? And I'm thinking I might, rather than have an ensemble cast, the way that number 8 reads, it seems that it's really following her story. So rather than having an ensemble cast, I want it to have weaknesses for my protagonist. This is my female lead character or my primary character. And I also want a love interest. And again, it's your story. Put the content in that you want to flesh out. And I do want to add in a formidable antagonist that wants something from the main character for his or her personal gain. Now, I want the LLM to give them all first and last names. I want it to include a list of the settings for the concept that might bode well for this Academy story with the Academy and magical elements while considering the overall story tone based on the tropes and themes selected. Now, I want it to also give me 5 descriptor words used to describe the selected genre's tone and mood. Now, why do I do that? Because I want to know what the tone of the story is. I want to make sure that I have guided the LLM in the right direction. Now, I also state this that the story takes place over hours to days. You can change that. If you want it to take place over weeks, months, or years, change that. I tend to like to have a very fast-paced story, and I like to move through things quickly. I might have a whole 90,000 word manuscript or 100,000 words. I might have that following a weekend or just 1 week. And I do that again because I like to show my characters moving through something relatively quickly, but I like to zoom into the action. So let's see what this gives us. And again, I'm in ChatGPT 3.5. So here it's given me a starting point. I have a very early synopsis. Remember, we took the premise, number 8's premise, and we have plugged it in, asked for a synopsis, but this is our early synopsis. Are we ready to start generating something or get our story beats? No, we have not fleshed this out enough. So let's take a look. We have in the kingdom of Eldoria, a realm steeped in tradition and ruled by strict the gender roles, young Saphrina Reed harbors a fierce determination to defy social norms. She yearns to become a warrior. She disguises herself as a boy to gain entry into the Royal Warrior Academy. As she enters the academy, she must prove herself not only as a warrior, but as a Mel, all while concealing her true identity. Now, why is she doing this? Why is she wanting to prove herself? Is it because she feels that women need to have more rights? I don't know, but if she has magical abilities and maybe it's uncommon for females to have magic, that could be a deciding factor for her. Now, let's take a look at some of the cross tropes. We have, she is cross-dressing because she is dressing as a male and disguising herself. We have the Elite Academy. We also have the gender norm challenges. And we also have her secret identity and a coming of age story. Our themes are identity and authenticity. So she's grappling with the tension between her true self and the persona that she has to project. And then she's also she's struggling with gender equality, which I think is really cool when you look at maybe a dystopian world or maybe a medieval time or maybe even a futuristic world where something has happened and there's no longer equality within the world, or maybe it is otherworldly and it's a completely different planet, or maybe it's a parallel world where women do not have rights and she's fighting for those rights. So again, we have friendship and loyalty, courage and determination, and betrayal and deception. So all of those can come into play. Now we also have our setting. Now, any of these items we could change or we could keep as they are. We have the academy, we have the kingdom, we have a hidden enclave, we have a forest, and we have a heartstone chamber. So all of these are settings that we can keep in mind. Do we have to keep them all? No, we can add others or we can remove some, completely up to the writer. We have our tone, style, and mood. So we have adventure, empowering, enigmatic, courageous, and intriguing. Now, one of the things that we want to really pay attention to is the subtext of the dialogue. So we want to take a look at how things might unfold with some of the different characters. Now, this gives some very clear lines of dialogue. If some of the lines don't sound like your character, change them up, make them different. Make sure that your characters have a different feel to them and a different voice or meter. Now, remember, we asked for book 2 and book 3. So the story can continue with our main character here in the second installment. Her secret teeters on the brink of exposure as the Lord, now aware of her true identity, blackmails her to aid in his quest. So again, it's giving you ideas of how you can go in and flesh out book 2 and book 3. Now, do you have to keep these? No. If you wanted to, you could ask for 2 other types of books. If you wanted it to be a 6-book series, you could then prompt to ask it for additional books. Now, one of the things that I do like to do is I like to go in and I like to evaluate. So I'm going to go and copy my step number 3. And again, I will share this with each one of you, the link itself. And I'm going to evaluate the current synopsis and look for strengths and weaknesses. I'm wanting some key content to be spit out. So let's see what that does. And as you can see, it's really spitting this out quickly. So it's letting me know that my strengths, my weaknesses, the motivation, it's even giving me some Myers-Briggs for my characters. So this is the main character's attributes. She has, under strength, she's determined, courageous, skilled in archery and swordsmanship. Her weaknesses, she's impulsive, she has difficulty trusting others, and she's inexperienced in deception. So that could cause some issues for her. Now, her motivation is to break the gender stereotype and prove her worth as a warrior. So let's take a look at the love interest. So the love interest is a fellow student. And let's see, Tristan is known for his charisma, intellect, and exceptional swordsmanship. So again, here we go. We have striking blue eyes. If you don't want blue eyes, change them. If you don't want chestnut hair, change it. Again, this is your story. Make it what you want. And we have our antagonist listed. And for book 2, it's giving us more information on characters. And book 3 gives us some of the characters as well. This means that, say we want to talk a little bit about the queen in book 1, just so that the reader's aware of that, we can always plant that seed earlier. We don't have to introduce the character in real time. Maybe they have some discussions about the Queen's kingdom. Again, think about how you can intertwine your different stories together. One of the things that you can do here is that you can ask it to give you an extended synopsis.
While you're doing that, I'll mention a couple things if that's all right with you.
Yes.
Guys, when Mira can't scroll right now because she's typing, but remember back when it talked about Seraphina's reluctance to trust and the fact that she couldn't deceive? I would actually ask the LLM to expand on that. There's got to be something in her backstory that makes her this way. So I would probably say, what has made her this way? I might say, give me several options of what has made her this way. Why doesn't she trust people? The other thing that I would probably do if I were taking this is when we look at the love interest, I forgot his name already, the next paragraph down, I would say to him, not to him, but to the LLM, I would ask the LLM to give me a cross purpose between the love interest and Seraphina. So in other words, I want them to have opposing goals when this starts. So I want them to be a little bit of enemies. It adds to the conflict. It'll raise the stakes. And it'll interest the reader just a little bit more when we can see that they start out with both having opposite goals and then slowly have to come to terms with either they're going to have the same goal or they're going to do the same thing for a common good, something of that nature. Just so I'm just saying this because sure, it gives you some good stuff right here, but it's just a starter. So you need to feed it a little bit of information So it'll come back to you with a lot more information, so you have a more solid character and a more solid story. Thank you, Mira. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to run so long.
Oh no, you were perfect. So I actually asked the LLM that, so we're gonna take a look at that, but I'm gonna ask the LLM to add the new content to the extended synopsis.
Oh, I wasn't trying to force your hand. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I thought that's perfect. One of the things that we did when Cece was talking, I asked it to give me an extended synopsis, wrapping the content in that we had prior to what Cece had stated, and it gave me this extended synopsis here. And as you can see, it got pretty lengthy on that specific synopsis. And again, I'm going to share this link with you so that you can read this. Now, in addition to this, I did go ahead and ask, why is she inexperienced in deception? What happened to make her this way? And give the protag and love interest opposing goals. So it did that. It let me know that it's attributed, her inexperience in deception is attributed to her upbringing, a kingdom where honesty and honor are highly valued. She was raised in a close-knit family that upheld these principles, instilling in her a strong moral compass. So it's going against the grain of who she has been raised to be. So she has to struggle with that fact that she's deceiving everybody. Now, we also have the goals. Her goal is to break free from the confines of gender stereotypes, improve her worth, and he is driven by a deep sense of responsibility to protect the kingdom from external threats. Maybe he feels that a female coming onto the board and being deceptive is something that he needs to protect the kingdom from. I don't know, but we also know that there is a conflict that is threatening the kingdom that is beyond our protagonist, her deceptive nature. Now, again, she's only deceptive because she's hiding that she is female and pretending to be male, but they also have a much larger conflict to have to take care of, that main climatic scene. So let's take a look at what a new extended synopsis looked at. So taking all that into consideration, it's letting us know that in the kingdom where she lives, the tradition and strict gender roles dictate every aspect of her life. Now she is 17. She harbors an unyielding determination to shatter those norms. And it does give us a description of what she looks like: long raven black hair, piercing green eyes. You can definitely change that. You don't have to keep that description. And it lets you know that her appearance is matched only by her fierce spirit. So she has a fierce spirit, but she's struggling with herself because she has been raised to be honest, to never be deceptive. And here she is being deceptive because of what she believes in. Now, again, because she is inexperienced in this deception, eventually her love interest sees something. He begins to take notice. Again, she does form bonds with some of her fellow students who they think that she's Mel, but she begins to have feelings for Tristan. And Blackwood, definitely, you will find that the LLM will use some names over and over again, like Blackwood, Thompson, you name it. So again, you can flesh this out. You can look at how you want to take this story forward and go back and forth with the LLM. Now, one of the other things that you can do here is that you can ask it to give you a detailed backstory. And I do realize we have already hit the top of the next hour, and we will be wrapping this up soon, but I do want to get a couple of these prompts in here for you so that y'all can play with them. So in this prompt, it's asking for detailed backstory for each of the characters. I'm going to remove ensemble, and I'm going to ask it to go ahead and flesh that out for me. So again, it gives me a little bit more information about Serafina. It gives me more information about Tristan. It gives me information about the town and the lore. Now, what I don't see here is the antagonist. Let's add that. We will go ahead and input that information. Now, what I would do before I ever go in to generate my story beats, I would actually flesh this out. I would make sure that my synopsis was where I wanted it. My characters were where I wanted them. I would make sure that it was very clear what direction my story was going before I ever actually created my outline and then my story beat. Are there any thoughts, questions?
Nothing in chat.
Okay.
No questions yet. I posted the links to the LLMs, and when you're done, you can just post the link to this chat for them.
I'm going to go ahead and copy this.
And here it comes, folks. Get ready.
Now, one of the other things that you can do, if you use the same prompt over and over again, maybe you are creating your story beats and you want to use the same prompt over and over again, you can always come here to custom instructions and you can put in your prompts here. Now, do you have to add that how you want the LLM to respond to? You can use this however you want to. You don't have to use it the way that it is instructed here. If I wanted to, I could tell it that we have a character list with details about the character's attributions, their physical features, their weaknesses. And now I want to create a 15-chapter summary and give it very detailed instructions here. I could do that. Or if I wanted it to give me specific story beats, I could put that in here, save it, and then I could actually just go in and say, give me beats for chapter 1, give me beats for chapter 2, give me beats for the summary for chapter 3. And it would do that. So again, think of the different ways that you can use the LLM. Now, I will demo how to use this later on in the session in one of the future sessions. So if you want to play with it now, by all means, play with it. But you'll also be able to see it in future episodes of the eGlobal Creative Publishing series that we're doing today. So give me just a moment. I am going to stop sharing and I'm going to pull up my presentation. Were there any specific comments inside of the chat? Okay. So give me just a moment. I'm going to bring up the chat. I'm going to share that with you. There you are. And now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and I am going to go back into our presentation.
So if y'all will click on that link that Mira just provided and you save it to your favorite places, you'll always have access to that very set of stories that she started, and you will have access to the prompts that she used so that you in turn can use them whenever you're creating something. And don't forget to download either one, Word or PDF, one of the documents that I've put up above, because that will have some links to the LLMs, eGlobal, all kinds of good stuff.
Now, as we move into our Q&A session, I invite you to ask any questions you might have. This is a great opportunity to dive deeper into the topics we've covered today. Whether your questions are about AI's role in storytelling, specifics about the demonstration we just conducted, or about the advanced techniques and methods we've discussed, we're here to help provide you with further insights. So your questions are essential for comprehensive understanding of how the AI works. When I first started out using AI, I felt so lost and I wasn't even sure how to engage the LLM. And as you use it more, you're going to get more comfortable with it, and you're going to begin to see how you can use it within your everyday process. Again, use it to bounce ideas off of, use it to help you organize your thoughts. Maybe there's a specific scene that happens in your book and maybe you need it to happen earlier or later. Make sure that you are having that conversation with the LLM. It can reorganize everything for you. It can shift things within an outline. It can move things around in your story beats. So again, you're only limited to the questions that you are asking the LLM. So again, play around in there. Are there any questions at this time?
Nothing in chat. Anybody have any questions? You can unmute yourself and fire at will. I think you scared them.
Y'all are a very quiet group. So again, I do want to stress that going out and playing inside of the LLM is something that I was so nervous about doing that at first. And then I kept thinking, what if I prompted the wrong way? You know what? There's really no wrong or right way to prompt. Prompt the way you feel comfortable. Watch a few different videos, whether it is videos on the AIWC, which is AI Writers Connection, or other people's videos on using AI. Watch how different people prompt the LLM and find a method that works for you. It is not a one size fits all kind of shoe. You can mix and mash different types of processes and find what works for you for your story. Now, as we conclude our session today, let's reflect on the key points we've covered today. We started by exploring the fusion of traditional storytelling with AI, recognizing how this integration is reshaping the narrative landscape. We dived into how AI enhances various narrative elements, aiding in plot development, character creation, and even setting the scene for rich storytelling environments. Now, looking forward, the potential future of AI in storytelling is vast and is full of possibilities. AI's evolving capabilities promise even more sophisticated assistance in narrative creation, potentially leading to new genres and storytelling forms. As writers, editors, and storytellers, it's an exciting time for us to embrace these changes, using AI not as a replacement for human creativity, but as a tool to enhance and expand our storytelling horizons. Again, you are the director, you are guiding the LLM. I want to thank each of you for your participation, questions, and engagement in today's session. Your contributions made this a discussion that was rich with insight and allowed us to explore some of the areas that you had interest in. The journey of storytelling with AI is just beginning, and I look forward to seeing how each of you will use these tools to craft your unique and compelling narratives. I want to thank you for exploring this endless possibility of storytelling with AI with me. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Gayleen.
Thank you very much. Great session. Really fun to go through that story. And thank you so much for giving us that link so we could look at it ourselves. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Next week will be another exciting session, so I'll post more information about that as we approach that. Mira Gold, thank you so much. WordSpinner, thank you so much for your help today. And everybody have a fantastic day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.